Welcome back everyone, and for this video I'm going to be talking about something called an array. Now an array is this really cool way to store data in computer programming so that it's organized and you can keep track of kind of what's going on. Now I've created a script and I'm going to walk you through it, but basically up where I declare the variables, so don't worry about the length of the script, it'll be really simple. Up where I declared the variables, I've got these two variables which we've used before, color and gameObject, but you'll notice when I declared it, I put right after it brackets. And they have to be brackets, but what that does is it changes the way that this variable is created. It's no longer a single color variable or a single gameObject variable. These are now arrays. And an array is a collection of multiple of variables of these type that fall all under the same name. It helps you keep track of, let's say you were to have like 500 variables in a project, you could organize groups of them into these arrays. So the array myColors will store all of the colors I want to save, and the array spheres will store all of the gameObjects that I want to save. So in the scene you'll notice I've put 4 spheres, and I'm going to be assigning each one a different color. So let's take a look at the script and see what I did. I've saved 2 variables here, which sphere and which color, because I want to be able to tell the computer which sphere I'm interested in and which color I'm interested in. They have to be integers because I'm going to be referring to a specific spot on the array. And the array will store data starting from the 0 index, going up by 1 up until your maximum size -1. Because it starts at 0, the maximum value that would go into the array as an index number, which tells you which variable you're looking at, would be the maximum size -1. So in start, I'm going to tell my script how big these arrays are. So in the color array, I want to store 4 colors. So I'm going to say myColors equals new color, and then I put the brackets after it, and inside the brackets I put a 4, semicolon. For the spheres array, I also want to tell it the size. So spheres is new gameObject brackets 4, semicolon. All right, now I want to fill those arrays with actual values. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can use some of the functions where you would like find these objects. So I could say spheres equals gameObject.find gameObjects with tag, and then give it the tag. So in Unity, you have this option on an object to tag it. You can create a tag and then put it in this list, and then you go back to the object and then you just select which tag you want to have. So I created a tag called spheres, all lowercase, and then in my script I can find objects with tag spheres. So that's one option, and it'll fill up my array. Since I only have 4 spheres, it'll be the perfect size. You can also set the values manually. So to refer to the first object, you're going to put an index of 0 inside the brackets, and notice how I've written my variable. I wrote the name of it, and then I followed it with brackets, and inside the brackets I put the index. So I'm saying the first one in myColors, the array, will be a new color, and I give it, remember this is R, G, B, and then A. I give it a red of 1, blue of 0, green of 0, and then, sorry, red of 1, green of 0, blue of 0, and then alpha of 1. So that means this will be red, this one will be green, this one will be blue, and this one will be white because it has full of everything. So I've got my 4 colors saved, I've got my 4 spheres saved, great. Now let's go in and actually do something. Well, I need a way to change which sphere I am targeting. So all I need to do is change the index, and then I can refer to it through my array. Well, I've created this which sphere integer, and I just need to change that in response to any kind of key press. So I'll put if input get key down key code space. So in other words, if I press space, then this will happen. What I want to happen is I want to be able to cycle through so that it goes from 0 to 3 and then repeats. Well, if I'm already at 3, that's too big. But if I'm not yet at 3, I can still add 1. So what I'll say is if which sphere is less than 3, then which sphere plus plus. Plus plus means plus 1. Great. Now if I'm already at 3, then I would say which sphere is equal to 0. Or if somehow I manage to get greater than 3, this else just kind of like covers all the bases. So basically if I'm greater than 3, I'm going to make it 0. and that would reset the cycle. So it's either going to do this or that, not both. Great. Now I also need to be able to cycle through the colors, so very similar format. Give it a key. I've just assigned C for color, really easy to remember. And then if it's already, if it's less than 3, I want to add 1 to the index. Remember, this is not the color itself, this is an integer that we're changing. We're adding 1 to the index. And then if we're already at 3, then we want to reset it back to 0 when you press C. Okay, so now we have control over which sphere, which color, and then lastly, let's do some kind of confirm key. So I had to make it a different key. This time I'm using enter or return. And you can say if input get key down key code return. Inside that condition, what I want to do is I want to set the color of a sphere. So that's what this line does. I'll talk you through it real quick. Spheres is an array. It contains all my spheres. Which sphere is the index? It's an integer value that tells me which part of the array I'm looking at. So by feeding that variable in here, I've now given it a number within this name to point to a specific sphere. Great. Now I want to change the color of that sphere. So I need to get the component renderer, and within the renderer I need the material, and within the material I need the color. Now to set the value, use $1 and now give it a color. Well, the color is found inside my colors array. So in my colors, I want to point to which one it is, so I'm going to use the which color index. Remember, which color is an integer, and we can control which color by changing that integer value. So really quickly again, which sphere within spheres has a color, change it to which color within my colors. Great. We've set all our values. Let's go to Unity and try it. So I'll hit play, and I want to go to my object that has a script on it so you can see what arrays look like. The difference between an array variable and a non-array variable is you're going to have this drop-down menu. A non-array variable will not. So I'm going to go into the my colors array. I've already assigned the values red, green, blue, and white. I can go to the spheres array, and it's assigned my spheres for me. Now, the element 0 would be the first element. So the default is element 0, and then the default here is sphere 3, and sphere 3 is located in the top right corner. So if I hit enter right now, it should change this sphere to red. Great. Now I can change the color by pressing C. So what that did is it changed which color. Which color now has an index of 1. So that means it would be green. If I hit enter, this should change to green. Cool. I can change the color again. Which color's index is now 2. Element 2 is blue, so I can change it to blue. And I can try that again, make it 3. This will go back to white. Now if I press space, that'll change which sphere. So now we're looking at index 1. Element 1 is sphere 2. So sphere 2 is located right there at the bottom right. So what I want to do is now change the color of that sphere, but I need to make sure the color is not white, otherwise I won't be able to tell the difference. So I'm going to change the color. Which color? 0 is red, red is okay, so let's try it. Cool. So we have total control. We can make all of these different colors if we want. So let's make that one red. Let's make this one green. Let's make that one blue. And that one can remain white. So now we have 4 different colored spheres. So that's pretty much the reason why you would use an array, and hopefully this video didn't take too long. I can see we're approaching 2 minutes. All right, see you next time.